Blog Talk Radio.
President recognizes Mr. Adams of Massachusetts.
Objects of the most stupendous magnitude. Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. We must expect a great expense of blood to obtain them. But we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. My worthy colleague from Pennsylvania has spoken with great ingenuity and eloquence. He has given you a grim prognostication of our national future, but where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.
All right, everybody, Joseph Gibson going live here in about 3 or 4 minutes here. What the hell has Blog Talk done with the chat room? What the hell have they done? Leave shit alone. What the hell is wrong with Blog Talk Radio? This is not what I paid for. This is not what this show is about. I don't want to see porno sites popping up in my chat room. I don't want to hear crap that people are talking about like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to carry on with the show here tonight. We're live on the air, and I'm sure they'll probably change that up one day. Like Amazon, like the government, when it gets involved with your health care and all kinds of crap, it's so convoluted, nobody can figure anything out. What the hell? Blog Talk Radio, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm not paying for this. Cancel my credit card. Cancel it. I'll go to I'll do something else if this is the way it's going to go. This is total nonsense. There's no chat room here. I've got nonsense in the chat room right now. Nonsense. Total nonsense. If you want to call in live here tonight, 657-383-0616. We'll be live in about 3 minutes. And then we're going to start calling politicians live, and then we'll take live callers. Total nonsense. I can't even type in my own chat room on my studio screen. My studio is locked up. I'm getting people sending me messages, and I can't even reply back. Blog Talk Radio, you are in big trouble because I'm coming after you now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come after you, Blog Talk Radio. And if any of you pay attention to my radio show over the last 6 years, I'll contact anybody live. 3 minutes and we'll go live here tonight, and then we'll open up the phone lines. We still got the phone lines, don't we? Or did Blog Talk Radio get all that crap twisted too with their nonsense, baloney? Unbelievable. I just can't believe this. I didn't get no notifications that the chat room was going to be switched up and people are listening on the internet trying to log in. This is ridiculous. Let me scroll down here, see what's going on. All right, 3 minutes and we'll go live and we'll take callers. After, of course, I do my usual thing here in my intro. Oh, my Lord. Unbelievable. Blog Talk Radio, you are going to be the thing of the past. You're just like MySpace and Facebook and your Twitter and everything else out there. You switch things around and you leave things alone. Change is not good. It's not good at all.
I think at one time or another we've all questioned as to whether all that we see and are experiencing in our world has some sort of a rational plan behind it. Because we understand now that both the Republican and the Democratic Party in our country are basically run by the same people. The same money finances both sides. We now know, of course, through the work of many historians who have spent their life working on research to show us that both sides of world conflicts have always been financed by the same people. And as I've said before, there seems to be a method to the madness going on in the world. We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't include you. What your government pays for, it gets. If you are paid to do something for the government, they will extract from you exactly what they have paid for.
That's right, folks. They will get exactly what they paid for, and we're going to give an example of that right now, your criminal politician. This is totally ridiculous. I can't even reply to my own chat room. I have to log in again for BTR chat to work. I can't log in again, I'm sorry, because otherwise the show may be cut off. So the phone number to listen to me live, or if you want to talk live, I mean, those of you who can get into the chat room, fine, go right ahead. But I'm going to complain about this. This is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. All right, let's call one of these people that the corporate media does not talk about. Then we'll get the live callers and open up the platform for everybody here tonight. And then I'll talk about some situations here I've been involved with, very discreetly, of course, because we got all the jackasses out there. Usually they log into the chat room, but because they're cowardly to call in. But the Mueller report is out. And, that's what the corporate media is paying attention to. But I want to talk about a presidential candidate that nobody knows about because the corporate media is too busy paying attention to Bernie Sanders. Let's call Eric Sodwell, his office in California here. Let's call his office and see what we get.
Thank you for calling the office of Congressman Swalwell. This is Rahul. How may I help you?
Yes, how you doing? I was just wondering if, by any chance, he's running for president, correct? Eric Swalwell?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Does he have a campaign headquarters that I can get a hold of? So just in case I want to volunteer or something, that somebody I can get a hold of out there in California?
Yeah, I can get you our campaign office's number, and whenever you're ready, I could give you that.
Yeah, I'm ready right now. I got the pen ready to write, sir.
Okay. So it's 925
230
8567
8567. And I know the media isn't paying too much attention, Mr. Sodwell, but if you don't mind, I don't believe a lot of what CNN or Fox News says. Just what's his platform? Can you just give me something real quick here that I can run with, or maybe so when I contact because I'm just looking up his website and everything, and I got the phone number and I called you live here I was just wondering,
Yeah.
what's his platform and what's his stand? Like, for instance, Bernie Sanders did a town hall on Fox News this week and blah, blah, blah. I mean, is he different than Bernie Sanders? I mean, does he have a different platform, or can you tell me what his stance is, for instance, for Medicare for all and stuff like that?
So for House ethic reasons, in this office, we can't speak about his campaign and like specificities and stuff of those sorts, but the campaign office could also answer all those questions for you.
The campaign office could answer all my questions. Then that's what I wanted to hear. So the campaign office, the phone number you gave me, and that's located in what city, please?
Dublin, California.
Dublin, California. All right. I'll call that office, sir, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too, sir. Okay. All right. Well, folks, he said that campaign office number will give me all the answers that I need. That's what he said. That's what he just said. Okay? And you can play it back and you can listen. All right, whatever you want. All right? But he gave me the phone number, and we're going to call that phone number, and we're going to see if we can get a hold of somebody. This could be like Amazon. We'll get a voicemail and select pound or 1 or 2, and then they hang up on you. But he said if I got a hold of somebody there, they can give me their answers on what Mr. Eric Swalwell stands for, and for instance, like Medicare for all, because we all want free health care, and the Federal Reserve is going to pay for all that, and blah, blah, blah. We'll get into that later on in the show about the Federal Reserve maybe. But let's call the campaign office before it gets too late, because, remember, I'm on the East Coast broadcasting in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they're on the West Coast. So, therefore, they're still open. It's still business hours. So let's call the campaign office. This is the number the gentleman gave me, the Congressman Eric Swalwell. And he is a presidential candidate and wanting to be the Democratic nominee. So we're trying to give him some time here. We've called Kamala Harris in the past, and many times, and we blah, blah, blah. But anyway, let's call them real quick. Okay, there we go. Probably get a voicemail. Excuse me.
Fall for America, how can I help you?
Yes, how you doing? I just called the congressman's office in California. They gave me your number, the campaign office, and I was just wondering, the corporate media doesn't pay too much attention to Eric Swalwell, and I was wondering what his platform is, like vice versa Bernie Sanders and the other Democratic candidates. And they said, they told me you can give me an answer.
So what definitely sets him apart from the other candidates is his position on gun violence prevention. To get into the policy specifics of it, I don't handle that policy issue and his other issues. I'm specifically in outreach, but I can definitely pass along your information to someone who can get an answer to you.
Well, I get that. Well, I appreciate that. I really do, and you pass along my information. Yeah. But the gentleman gave me your phone number and said you can answer my questions. And what is the platform Mr. Swalwell is standing for? Like, for instance, like Bernie Sanders did a town hall on April 15th there on Fox News, and he believes in Medicare for all. Does Eric Swalwell believe in Medicare for all, and everyone deserves free health care?
He does believe in a coverage all option.
So, and how does he plan on? So he believes that everyone should have health care, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and just another. Far as the Second Amendment, and like I spoke to Kamala Harris's office last week actually, and she supports a ban on assault rifles and quite possibly confiscation of assault rifles. Does Eric Swalwell support that also?
So yes, he believes in buying back all military-style assault weapons and keeping them off the streets, so that way we can find common-sense gun solutions. Yep. All
right. So therefore, if like just I don't, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I owned a AR-15, then Eric Swalwell as president, he would implement policies to where he could do a buyback system or a confiscation system. You'd have basically like New Zealand. You'd have you'd have to turn all your weapons, or you have a buyback system. Is that what you just said?
Right. The way it would be implemented might not be the same, but generally the policy that the congressman is pushing is to keep, these dangerous weapons out of dangerous people's hands.
Yeah, keeping them out of dangerous people's hands. But we need to get rid of them even in law-abiding citizens' hands because they're dangerous weapons. That's basically what that means, correct?
And that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So well, that's very interesting. Well, I appreciate you being very honest with me. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Not
and
a problem.
Do you have a website that I can go to support Eric Swalwell?
You can find more. Yeah, absolutely. You can find more information about his issues, and if you want to support and be involved, at ericswalwell.com.
Okay, I'll look that up, and I appreciate your time tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to speak it to me. I really do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye. Okay. Well, you just heard it right there, right here on Blog Talk Radio. Another Eric Swalwell, who is running for president, and they're going to confiscate your guns. That's what she said. They're going to confiscate. And even law-abiding says she said yes. That's correct. That's right. That's who you want as president of your republic, folks? They will confiscate your guns. Forcibly or a buyback system. You can either turn them all in and they will pay for them, or and first you said dangerous people. Well, who are dangerous people? Who are those dangerous people? And that's why I brought up law-abiding citizens, even law-abiding citizens who are not dangerous. I don't know what dangerous means. I should have asked her that, actually. What is the definition of dangerous? But then she may have gotten a little skeptical about the phone call. But, folks, you heard it right here on Blog Talk Radio, Understanding the Times Today, gun confiscation. That is your Eric Swalwell's policy. That's what he said. And he will implement a buyback program, or if you're a law-abiding citizen, you will turn it in, or you will be criminalized. Amazing, isn't it? What part of the Second Amendment does he not understand? Shall not be infringed. Anyone want to talk about that here tonight? Before I make my next call, you can call in. I've got some callers on the phone line. I'll get to you. But that was very interesting. That's a name that's not paid to in the corporate media, but Kamala Harris supports that also. We talked to her a couple shows ago, and they support the same platform. So they're all together. They all support the same views. So it's amazing how they will attack each other during the primaries, Well, I support what you support, so what does that mean? Well, that means I want to be in power other than you, But that was Eric Swalwell, his campaign office, and she did answer my question. She did. I'll give her credit there. And I'll get to a couple callers here, and then I want to call the governor of California before they close, and then I want to try Elizabeth Warren also. But very interesting what that exchange there, and you won't hear that on Fox News or Twitter, and you won't hear that on your corporate news media. Someone being that blunt, because you see, we're not scripted. We don't have cue cards like if you watch the Bernie Sanders town hall, they all stand up. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T. They're reading cue cards because they were selected and they were told, you answer this question when we call on you. Because that's what your corporate media does. But here on Understanding the Times in which you live in today, we do not do that. Okay? Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's take some live callers. Well, unscreened, 100%. I don't have a chat room tonight. I can't contribute in the chat room. I don't know who's in my chat room. I see names. Chris from California. Joko, legally that office can't discuss the campaign, dude. Yeah, well, they just did, sir. They just did, Chris. They just did. Right before your very ears. Okay? Mr. Eric Swadwell, his office, campaign office, just did. Okay? And it's archived, and you can send it to the NRA. You can send the show link to the NRA. Do whatever you want to do. Send it to your local groups. You know? All right. Before we call anybody else, let's take a live caller. I see my good friend here. I think this is 336, my local area code. And then I got a private caller that's been waiting a long time, and I'll get to that private caller. So 336, go ahead, Dr. Leroy Dickerson. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hey, what's going on? I put something in the chat room. I know you're having issues seeing it, and it's stupid. I like the way it was. And there's a microphone on there, and I've been clicking on it, too, just to see if, hey, I don't know what the hell that microphone's for. It ain't doing nothing. It says 4 speakers of 5, so I don't know what the heck that means either. But it's very stupid.
I see the same thing. I see the same thing. And I
don't
know what to click on,
anything,
so I'm afraid they'll disconnect me and shut down the show, and then I can't log back in,
Yeah, and if you click on anything, you're like, what the hell is this do? But anyway, you should ask these next people once you get them talking, and when you're asking if they support guns and all the bans and everything like that, ask them, what about machine guns and rocket launchers? Let's see how smart these people really are, But because we all know machine guns and rocket launchers aren't legal, have never really been legal. But,
Actually, Dr. Leroy, you can get a Class 3 license to have a fully automatic weapon. You can do that.
But that's not something you can easily go get. I mean, I know that, but I mean, you're not going to be walking down the street with a rocket launcher. If you got one of them licenses, you know better. I mean, to carry anything like that, first of all. And your background check and everything is a lot more strenuous than it is just to go get a pistol or anything like that. And you can use semi-automatics. And when they say, semi-automatic weapons, you say, what about revolvers? I mean, because that's the oldest form of gun, really, that came out to the mainstream, back in, I guess, I don't want to say the Old West, but, that's when revolvers were first really became popular. And they're semi-automatic. You got 6 shots or whatever. But another quick thing I'll touch up. This, give us some stupid questions, basically. But, now that the Mueller report came out, big news, the Mueller report, now they're digging deeper, and they're taking a little excerpt of what Trump said about, basically said, I'm effed. They just take that, and they said that's his, but they don't show what else he said during that, so it sounds like they're making it sound on purpose that, oh, no, I'm being investigated by a private panel or whatever. I'm effed. That's not what he said. They just take that one little sentence that he said, though, and take it, and they're using that now to have another witch hunt. I mean, Jesus Christ, leave the guy alone already. He's so squeaky clean, it looks like, that, the son of a bitch probably squeaks when he walks. But, that's something that I just get frustrated on. Every time he's free of this and finally of that, they just dig up something else, and it's never going to end. It's never. And I hope he wins and wins again, just to piss. I want to see all these little damn snowflakes crying again, especially if he beats Bernie. All millionaires should give up their money. Shut up, Bernie, you fool. Why don't you start by giving up your money first? Anyway, go ahead and make another call. I'm sitting back working and listening.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call here tonight. But before you go, how do you feel about that? All these Democrats out there who want to confiscate. You heard what she said. There'll be a buyback program, and even law-abiding citizens, if they don't turn them in, then they'll confiscate them. That's what she said. And how will they forcibly confiscate weapons from people? What will they do? Go door to door?
I think for right now they're saying what their base wants to hear. But as we get closer to the election, there's going to be a few that string off to try to get more of the other side's votes. And that's all they're doing right now. Right now they're playing to their base. And when all 20 of these people start going next year at each other's throat, you're going to see dirt ripped up on these Democrats like you ain't ever seen before. It's going to be a circus. That's what it's going to be, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Well, that's right. Amen. All right, you go ahead and sit back tight and mute yourself if you want, or I'll mute you real quick and I'll bring you back on because sometimes you have trouble muting yourself. I don't know what's going on with the chat room.
No, I can mute myself, no problem at all.
Okay, let's take a private caller here. Private caller, go ahead.
Hello, my dear brother Joseph. It's me, Dr. Pastor Ken. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. What'd you think of that call about confiscation of weapons? You know, they want to disarm us. So this way here, you know, after all these congressmen, I should have asked her, does the congressman Eric Swadwell have armed security? Why are they able to carry guns and not we, the people who are supposed to be in charge of our republic? That would have been an interesting question. Maybe I'll ask the governor's office when I call the governor here after your call. But go ahead, sir.
From one cocksucker to another cocksucker, I know you're a cocksucker.
Go ahead. I can barely hear you. Go ahead.
I'm beaten by me. I was molesting little African boys. What is wrong with that? Okay, what is wrong? It was boys and girls, not just boys. Okay, there was boys and girls from the orphanages. We had 25 kids. Okay?
Okay. All right. Pastor Ken. All right. I can barely hear you, Pastor Ken. I think we got a bad connection here. Yeah, maybe you should call back in. I want to call the governor's office of California before I run out of time. I'll mute you. Maybe you should call back.
You're a cocksucker.
All right. Well, I don't know if this is Pastor Ken or not. I have no chat room tonight. So I could see the posts in the chat room, but I can't reply back to them. I'm looking at them, so I don't know if this is really God's Rainbow Ministries, Pastor Ken.
I think you've got a great show going. It's very entertaining. I hope you get more callers.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll mute your call real quick, and you can continue listening in. Like I said, I don't know what Blog Talk has done tonight when I logged in, but I'm going to complain about it. But before it gets too late here, let me call the governor's office. We'll see if we can get a hold of somebody here, Governor of California, and see if he supports the confiscation of weapons. And I want to ask him about San Francisco. And because I've spoken to a few people from San Francisco, and oh boy, what a dirty city that's become. And that's a sanctuary city for the illegal immigrants that are coming in. And hey, I say God bless Donald Trump. You know, these sanctuary cities, send all the illegal immigrants there. They love them so much. What do you feel about that, folks? 657-383-0616. I don't screen callers. You can call in if you can get through. I don't know if you can. I've got a bunch of people on the phone line here. I don't know what Blog Talk Radio is doing, but I'm certainly going to complain about this. All right, here we go. Let's call the governor of California.
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Gavin Newsom. In order to expedite your call, please select from the following options. To continue in English, please press 1 now. Para continuar en español, por favor oprime el número 2. Please wait while your call is being transferred. You will be connected to the next available representative.
I hope so.
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Gavin Newsom. In order to expedite your call, please select from the following options. To continue in English, please press 1 now. Para continuar en español, por favor oprime el número 2. Please wait while your call is being transferred. You will be connected to the next available representative.
Okay, we'll see.
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Gavin Newsom. In order to expedite your call, please select from the following options. To continue in English...
Right, we'll mute you, Governor. We'll mute your office because obviously you just repeat yourself over and over. All right, let's see here. Let's try this one here real quick. Oh, boy. All right, here we go. This is what we do on Blog Talk Radio. We'll call anybody for you. But, here we go. Let's try it. Let's try this number. Nope, that number don't work. All right. hang up on that person. All right. No, cancel that call. Cancel. All right, well, let's see here. Let's see if we can get a hold of the governor's office.
Thank
Hello?
you for calling the office of Governor Gavin Newsom. Yep. In order to expedite your call, please select from the following options.
All right, all right. Let's just hang up on that person right there. All right, let's see. I got one more here to call here tonight, and then I'll open up the phone lines again for anybody who wants to join in here tonight. Let's see here. See, I got no chat room. Private message me, anyone on Facebook, if you want me to call somebody regarding tonight's platform, and we will do that. We know all the congresswomen and congressmen are on their 2-week hiatus right now where they're eating their $90 baked potatoes at their steak dinners. And then, let's see here. Let's try this one here. Let's see if we can get a hold of Elizabeth Warren. Obviously, nobody of them getting a hold of them. We'll hang up on that person. Oh, cancel that call. Cancel. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Oh, it's not mute him. Hang up. All right. Yep. I'm getting messages here on Facebook. Okay. All right. I got no chat room, like I said, so if any of you want to queue in here tonight, the phone number is 657-383-0616. Press 1 after being connected. And real quick here, I don't know where my usual followers are. Maybe they're afraid to call in. I don't know. Let me see here. All right, open another browser. I can't do that right now. I'm trying. Well, we may get disconnected if I try doing that. I don't know what happened here. All right. I've tried that already. My friend there. Oh boy. All right. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened with the chat room here tonight. I just don't know. If I start clicking on stuff, we could be disconnected. Oh. I'm going to complain about this because maybe they did this purposely. I don't know. Because you get all these idiots here in the chat room usually. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right. I'm just reading the people that I got. Was not me, Joseph. Okay. Well, God's Rainbow Ministries, if you want to call in and clarify that. All right. Hang on. Let me see here. See, my chat room is locked up. This is just ridiculous. This really is. This is how secure Blog Talk Radio is, and the same thing with your bank and everything else, and the Federal Reserve banking cartel and whatnot. All right, let's see. Oh boy, let me check other messages here, emails maybe. I've got no chat room here tonight. I've got no chat room at all. Oh boy. All right, here. All right, well, 657-383-0616. If I don't get the usual people that call in, I'll take live callers here. Let's see here. Mandela Khan. If Mandela Khan wants to call in, I'll give him an open voice here. All right. I got to check all my social media sites right now. So, all right, private caller, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? I'm mowing the lawn right now.
All right. Go ahead. Blog Talk Radio obviously has shut down my chat room, so I'm unable to get a hold of many people here tonight. So I'm just winging it here live, and I'm taking live callers, but I'm scanning down the phone line, making sure, trying to, see who I got here, and without the crank callers and the nonsense. And this is what happens when you do live radio and a live podcast. And I'm going to complain to Blog Talk Radio about this because this is not what I signed up for, and for them to do this to me in my chat room. But what's on your mind here tonight, private caller? Go ahead. Okay, may have lost him too. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're shutting down my phone lines too. But if I shut down the show, they won't let me log back in tonight. All right, go ahead, 203. Go ahead. Can I get a hold of 203?
Yeah, I just thought I'd get in here because no one else is here. So, yeah, this chat room really sucks. I was frustrated when I first logged in, too. I'm always logged into Blog Talk, and it wouldn't let me do anything, and then I realized that I had to relog back in, and it changed my name, and then it won't let me change it back. And if you remember a year or two back, they started this same crap again. And you write to them, and you get an email back from them a day or two later. It has nothing to do with what you told them, and you can't get anywhere with them. It is just like Amazon.
Yeah, it's like Amazon and your politicians, basically.
Pretty much. There was someone in the chat. The picture of her is a female. She calls herself Porsche Monkey, not Porsche. Porsche Monkey. And if you look at her pic, if you click on her pic and you look at her belt, she's got. It looks like she's got a pistol strapped to her belt. So good for her.
Yeah. Well,
you're going to have to write
if I were her, I'd be careful because Homeland Security may snatch her up.
Why don't you start looking for another platform to do this on, even if it's just
Dr.
doing
Leroy,
a
you're
webcast.
absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct, because if Blog Talk Radio is going to pull this crap, then you're right. But and my name is Understanding the Times in Which You Live In, so it's my name. No one else has that name, and if anyone else uses that name, that's a copyright violation in itself, and I could claim a copyright violation, right, BitBanker?
Yes, you could, but you have to register it too in order to enforce it.
Yeah, and the problem with this
is
when you sign up for Blog Talk, nobody ever reads it. I'm sure there's an end-user license agreement. There's nothing you can argue with them about this or anything else. But the only thing you can do is complain, hope that enough people complain that they listen to switch things back the way they were. But this whole damn Blog Talk thing is trash anyway. You need to get into webcasting, podcasting, or something like that, where they don't tie you down to a certain amount of listeners. It's all free. And for the most part, but BitBanker knows more about that than probably me.
And maybe that's why Dr. Leroy, maybe 50 cents, subscribe to my show and make people pay. I mean, like my great grandfather used to say, the more you screw somebody over, the more they love you.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to be. Everybody wants to argue, first of all. Nobody wants to say, I agree with you 100%, because nobody agrees with anybody 100%. So if they're saying that, they're just kissing your ass anyway. So it's good talk when people have a disagreement and can be civil about it. They could cuss each other a little bit, too, at the same time, but not, get into the threatening stuff and all the other crap like you hear sometimes out here. And, you'd be able to limit a lot more of your callers that way, too, I think. Through all these private numbers coming in, there might be a way to block a private number because the past two calls you had, both of them were prank callers. So I don't think you could hear them because they were breaking up so bad. One was talking about. Yeah, one was talking about.
I couldn't. Tonight's show obviously was promoted on Facebook and Twitter, and all the jerks called in. But Dr. Leroy, I do have 210 area code 210.
Well,
we'll see what they have to say.
The 50 cents a call to begin with would be good. And you know what? This way you'll get real callers, and you know who they are. And maybe after you find out that they're real callers, and then they can get on for free afterwards. It would sort of eliminate all these jerks. I mean, if these jerks
I've got one even better than that, BitBanker. You do 50 cents, but they pay you via PayPal. You do 50 cents, they pay you via PayPal. It's a simple little script you add into any website. And you know what? Then you know who they are also. They're not going, you may not know exactly who they are, but they have an identity that they're not going to sit there and redo every week because it's tied to their bank account.
Yeah, but you don't even need that, because if they'll pay 50 cents once or twice and they get on and they talk and they're not talking about their genitals and everything else and talking about homosexual activities or stuff like that, then let them come on for free after that,
Yeah. They're not playing recordings from past callers or anything like that. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'll take another caller. 210. Go ahead.
Hey, Joe, it's me, Ken, Dr. Pastor Ken. Just thought I'd call in and yeah, Sunday night is when they did this change to the blog talk, because I couldn't get my chat room open and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And then all of a sudden the next day I look down, everybody's got this new chat thing going on. Okay, but I did notice.
So God's Rainbow Ministries, we need to complain to Blog Talk. Leave crap alone, just like our health care. Leave it alone.
Well, I already did, Joe, and it's like when you try to call them, you can't never get a hold of them. You have to leave them an email, and then they get back to you the following day. Okay, and then what the email I left them about the Blog Talk chat room. Okay, they didn't even when they emailed me back.
Well, this is what I say, God's Rainbow Ministries. They changed the contract. We had a contract that we paid for as Blog Talk radio show hosts. They changed it. They violated their contract. Therefore, I demand a refund. Right?
Well, yeah. Good luck trying to get it, because they're going to say you can still chat, and now you can't chat in your own chat room, and there's a little bitty black box on the very bottom where it should say type in message.
Yeah, actually, I don't even have that. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't even have that. I've got 3 speakers, 5 viewers, and then I've got an icon here that says log out of chat, and then another icon next to that says QR code for mobile chat, and then another icon that says turn the sound effects on or off, and then another icon next to that says open the chat and speak in a separate window, and then another icon that says export the chat conversation as HTML file, and then as last and finally auto scroll.
We all got those.
Auto scroll the conversation window to show new message.
Down there in the bottom, you have a little gray space between all that says type a message that you can click on and start typing.
Type the message in chat that everyone's talking about doesn't appear unless you re-log into Blog Talk.
Okay, and Joe, you may need to update Java and Flash Player also. I don't know what app this is using, what technology it's using, but Java and your Flash probably has to be up to date also.
Yeah, but why should I do that, Dr. Leroy? All these years, things have remained the same. Leave it alone.
Well,
like our health care. Leave it alone.
There's updates for Flash and Java normally because of security reasons. So you got to accept them. If you don't, website, you'll quit seeing certain content because of security reasons. That's the only reason why you got to update that stuff. It's not intrusive to your computer or anything like that. It's just something you got to do because of idiots out there.
Yeah. If you had everything set up the same way for years, okay, then you got to update. Okay, I didn't have to update because I guess the last time that I did an update, okay, it was still good, so I didn't have to update again. But I was surprised that I can use my chat room with no problem. But the problem I'm having is that the only thing that's good about this is that it cuts down on your trolls. Okay, that's the only thing that's good about that. Okay.
Does it really? I've got somebody in my chat room that calls themselves Porch Monkey Man at gmail.com.
No, that's Porch Monkey.
Send him an email.
That's Porch Monkey.
You know what I mean?
Man.
Actually, she called into my show too the other last night. Okay, and she's using her gmail.com. So evidently, is an actual person. Okay,
and it's probably a he.
Well, I don't know. Her name was supposed to be Kim. Okay, and she liked one of my callers who called in last night, Spencer, and wanted to get a hold of him. So
Would you register an email being yourself as Porsche Monkey Woman if you was a man? No. Their email is Porsche Monkey Man.
I know. I saw that. Yeah.
That's the female picture I alluded to in the beginning.
Yeah.
With the pistol.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to click on it right now, and it says user offline. So obviously,
they're offline right now.
Too long for the show.
They're offline right now. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make this look like
second half of the
Snapchat.
page, and it says Rumble Talk. So
they're trying to make
man.
this look like Snapchat or something like that. That's what they're doing. Snapchat or some type of Twitter. That's what this app is trying to look like, and it sucks. I tell you, I don't get into Snapchat, Twitter, none of that crap. And
or Instagram, or LinkedIn Talk, or crap like that.
Well, LinkedIn is more for professionals.
Rather than doing this over the web and getting involved with companies like this, we could do it all over the telephone.
That's what we're doing right now.
And start a webcast.
Do away with the web entirely.
Well, you're absolutely correct. But then you get into the FCC regulations if you do that, and then you're talking Telecommunications Act, and then you got to start doing research law on that. But, if you remember, I had an FM transmitter.
As soon as these people in the chat figure out that they can post pornographic pictures here, they will. And you know what? Then there'll be no more chat anyway. Because they will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they will.
They're going to have to do something.
Correct.
Yeah, but
and remember something, Joe.
I think in order to do that, you have to copy and paste. Okay, if you want to put stuff in the chat.
Well, I'll try.
Okay,
not a porn picture. I'll just get anything. Yeah.
I think you have to copy and
God's
paste.
Rainbow Ministries, real quick, while I got you on the line. I mean, we started off the program real good, and there's very good information that I gave here in the beginning by calling people like I usually do.
Right. Right.
Someone a porch monkey. I don't know. I think that someone just posted a door. And then I got Dr. Leroy Dickinson there just posted something. But, look, let's do live phone calls. That's the best thing to do. And I'm going to complain to Blog Talk because, you know what, I wasn't notified of this when I programmed the show, when I created the show here tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't notified Sunday night either. And then Monday. Okay, I was off on Monday. I didn't do a show, and then Tuesday I did my show, and it was like, wham! I got hit with this. I was like, okay. I had to figure it out, but I figured it out, and I was able to. I guess because my update was good enough, I was able to actually post. Okay.
Well, Blog Talk Radio obviously is going downhill. It's kind of like MySpace when it was going real good and they switched it all around and then everything turned into Facebook. It makes you wonder if there's an agenda here, and turning us over to something else,
Well, Joe, I think that Banger's got a good idea, and you don't have to worry about FCC or anything like that. If they call into you, it's a one-on-one conversation. They have every right to hang up if they don't like what you're saying. You're not calling them back and harassing them, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I used to use the chat room for a lot of people to give me phone numbers to call live on my podcast. So therefore, they are injuring me monetarily right now.
Do that on Fraud Book. This way, you have a record of everything too.
Hey, that's a good website to start. Fraud Book. You know what? Everyone can post whatever they want, and it'll just be chaos, no order whatsoever.
Right.
I'm hearing things I never heard of before. Frog Book. I never heard of that.
No, we're creating it live on Understanding the Times in which we live in today. But God's Rainbow Ministries, real quick, when's your next show so I can log in or I can call in because I don't know if I can log in anymore.
Well, my next show is 8 o'clock tonight, Central Standard Time. And then the next show after that is the same time, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. It would be Friday. Okay, so If you're able to get off here, okay, and want to call me tonight, you can call me tonight.
What's the phone number to call in, real quick? Because I got some other callers here on the phone line.
Okay, the phone number to call in is 657-383-1487.
Well, I wanted to do that for you. I appreciate it. God's Rainbow Ministries. Hopefully you'll stay on the line. I've got another private caller here.
One second.
I was wondering if Mandelicon would join us tonight. I don't know if he has or not, because I've got about 125 numbers on the call screen. And if you missed the beginning of the platform here, I called Eric Swadwell's campaign office, and they are wanting to confiscate, according to their base and their platform, to confiscate your guns, folks. And you need to turn them all in. You could do a buyback system, or if you're a law-abiding citizen, you will turn them all in. And that's what his office says. And the woman answered all my questions. I wish I could have asked her some more questions, but I didn't want to carry on a little bit longer than I should have. But we'll post a link to this show. I know Blog Talk Radio screwed me up here tonight with the chat room. And I don't appreciate that. I don't. And I've been doing Blog Talk Radio since 2014 now. 5.5 years. Many guests, many people, and we get a chat room with nonsense. And I know people told me I could log out, but if I log out, then the show is going to say, thank you for using Blog Talk Radio, and then the show is going to end. So that's why I didn't do that.
Well, if you do that, you see, and the show ends, all you got to do is go in and delete, the episode and start it, say a little bit later, like 15 minutes later. And which I've had to do numerous times because Blog Talk messed me up. But you can easily do that. You can easily just delete the episode, and then create another episode, like boom, if you're not posting it on social media, like on Facebook, so for people to call in.
Well, you see, God's Rainbow Ministries. You follow me on Facebook and everything, and I've got over 5,000 friends on Facebook and probably 12,000 followers, and then I go on Twitter and I go on Instagram, and I've got about 2,000-3,000, and I post a link to the show, and then they can't get on. And a lot of people don't want to call in live, so it messes me up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But we did place a live call to Congressman Eric Swadwell tonight. Area code 510-370-3322, and then we called his campaign office, and they did answer the phone, and they want to confiscate your guns, folks. What do you think about that? Next caller, private caller, go ahead.
One second.
Oh wait, sorry. Hang on, mute that. Go ahead, Bitbanker, go ahead.
I'm trying to get in here. A little preamble so you know what I'm going to be talking about. In 1998, I created a website. I used dynamic HTML, which was new back then. Leroy knows what I'm talking about. And I called it Band Bay. I was working at some universities in Connecticut. Now Tone would say I was a janitor, but I wasn't. And I called it Band Bay, and I put it on the web. It was an auction site. It sold everything that eBay didn't. And eBay came after me with a vengeance as a trademark violation because they got the trademark on Bay. And I contacted the law schools and everything like that and went through the attorneys that worked there, and they said I had a good case, but I'm going after eBay. And unless I want to spend tens of thousands of dollars to go away quietly and take it down. But if we're going to do a fraud book or something like that, I think here's what I should do. We should decide on a name. I'll go to the Copyright, Trademark, and Patent Office, and we'll trademark the logo and the name. And while we're doing that, we'll search out other sites out there like Blog Talk Radio, and we'll trademark that as well. This way they can't use them.
Hey, there you go. Let's do it.
There you go.
Let's do it. And you know what? We won't charge people $40 a month. We'll charge you 50 cents. How's that sound?
Good to me.
And we'll be larger than anyone else. I say let's do that. That's a great idea, Bitbanker.
I've got a nice Linux server all set up in the Netherlands that has terabytes and terabytes of bandwidth. So there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. There you go. I mean, I've been looking at different platforms too, trying to figure out if I want to leave Blog Talk. Okay, but every one I've looked at, is costly as heck. Okay, and you don't even get that many callers. You get 30 callers. Okay, and you get this or that. You know,
right. Have you tried TalkShoe? Have you tried TalkShoe?
I haven't heard of that one.
Try TalkShoe.com. I believe it's free, but I was on that for a decade. But you're right, not too many people call in, but the callers you get are genuine.
Okay, TalkShoe. Okay, I'll look into that.
No, TalkShoe.
TalkShoe.
What is the equivalent?
Get smart. Right.
Okay.
What is the equivalent to NetMeeting now? I mean, what is the equivalent to NetMeeting now, where you just give somebody a link and they automatically join your chat room, and they're allowed to talk there and everything else? And it's got being 2018, 2019, and not 1999 no more. There's probably phone numbers you can patch in and everything else.
Well, look, Dr. Leroy, let me answer that question for you. Rush Limbaugh has a subscriber show for his podcast. Glenn Beck does. Okay, and you can't get into their chat or the TV Blaze network without subscribing. Now they may charge $29.95 a month, but you get in there and you know what? You have 1 million people listening to what you have to say. And that's what Bitbanker's referring to basically is he's saying is that once people, and you said this earlier, once people have to say and divulge their banking information and log into your show, you're not going to get these idiots out there with a female with a gun on her side who has a link to her porn site and several other sites, because they're not going to do that because they'll be exposed immediately through their personal information. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And I think that's awesome. And because Blog Talk Radio really has gone too far. They really have. And God's Rainbow Ministries, who's a Blog Talk Radio show host, understands that. Blog Talk Radio, look, we're trying to expand Blog Talk Radio, and what Blog Talk Radio is doing is they're sucking $40 a month out of 10,000 BTR Blog Talk shows out there, and they're putting up these pop-up ads on the screen when people log in, and it's buffering, and nobody can log in, but they're getting the advertisements out there because that's what they were paid to do. But we're not getting real voices out there.
Leroy, you figure out the platform. I'll give you the SSH, the Telnet, the FTP, and everything for the Linux site. You know Linux. You can create your binaries. You can install MySQL. You can do whatever you need to do.
Well, and another thing too is being the live. That's what makes it a little more difficult than a pre-recorded one. There's different avenues you could go down. There really is. I'm looking at some now online just to look. So give me just a minute here, and I'll probably have an idea of a good route to at least investigate in going.
All right, Dr. Leroy, I appreciate that. While you're doing that, I'll take some live callers and see what they have to say. And then, of course, if they talk nonsense, I'll mute them right away. So go ahead, private caller. Private caller who wants to hide their number.
Oh! That's a fake me. Well, you're an
okay.
asshole.
What's on your mind tonight?
That's obvious. Okay, all
right. Mute that caller. He didn't have anything interesting to say. Next private caller. Go ahead.
It's me, Dr. Pastor Ken.
Okay. All right. Dr. Leroy, you see, when people have to pay to make their voice heard, they won't do nonsense like that. And then now they hang up because that's what they do best. They and that's what Blog Talk really has become. And if you look at the other chat rooms and everything else Blog Talk has done, it's filled with such convoluted nonsense, like God's Rainbow Ministries. He does a great show, but he gets attacked with nonsense. I've been on his platform, and once I call in, he always tunes me. He knows I'm for real. He knows who I am, so he gives me a voice on his platform. But he gets idiots in his chat room. He gets idiots that call in, and there would have to obviously be some sort of screening process. But once people call in, I think, like Bitbanker said, once people pay and they divulge their banking information to a platform and their personal information, which should be required, and they subscribe to a live listening podcast show like Rush Limbaugh does, Glenn Beck, Dana Lash, for instance, she does a podcast show. She's a friend of mine on Twitter. She doesn't allow this nonsense, and there's a way to get around it. There is, and especially
look into
when I'm
a big thing nowadays. And get this, while it's on fresh in my mind, is something called Twitch. You can video, you can do whatever you want on it, and I don't think there's much of a subscription cost, if any. And it's real popular among especially gamers because there's actually people that run Twitch accounts all day long and sit on their butt and make enough money doing it that they don't have to work a job. There's Twitch, there's Discord. Discord is another platform that's free. And they're all web-based. You can do them from your phone. They're just different ones to go. But I'm researching right now some different live podcasting stuff.
Yeah, but Discord is. I belong to Discord, and it's more of a gaming side.
Yeah, it is. So what we got to do is we got to find a Discord or a Twitch for live radio broadcasting or something like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dr. Leroy. You're absolutely right, Dr. Leroy. And Bitbanker's absolutely right. And for those that are queuing in here or listening in on via Twitter, what we're trying to do is eliminate this blog talk crap. That where everyone could just log in, they're talking about their genitals. When people are trying to talk serious issues, that's something very important, and the people that are listening here tonight, this is something we're going to be working on in the future. Bitbanker has committed himself to working on this, and we need to create something a little bit different than Blog Talk, because obviously Blog Talk, we found out tonight they switched the chat room around. I usually have a lot of chatters in my chat room. Tonight, I don't know who I have in my chat room. I've got nonsense.
5 in there, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
You got 5.
Yep.
Oh no,
I will tell you one thing.
You got 4 now.
There may be even a way to do this. There may be even a way to do what you want through Windows Media Player. If Bitbanker remembers, back in the day, there was a third-party app called Winamp, NullSoft Winamp, and it allowed you to actually broadcast your own radio station if you want. And you could hook a live mic up to it. You could talk live. And the only thing people needed to connect was a URL, a link, and they could connect and listen. And you could have it published. You would be able to have it published over the Internet on their directory. I did it. I used to do it all the time. And so it's not hard to do.
Well, you're absolutely correct. And this way here, people could voice their opinions and also and join in, to the podcast live, like you said, where we can get rid of these porno sites that pop up all the time and all the nonsense that pops up. Because look, even if we disagree with callers, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like Mendelicon calls into this platform sometimes, and a lot of us agree with what he has to say, but he brings a serious conversation to the platform. So, you can let people in to, have discussions, but instead you get like for instance, Dr. Leroy. Remember, hello. Do you really think we would get,
hello.
You know what I mean? Yeah, the nonsense. Yeah, the total nonsense.
Is Bitbanker still on the line? I got a quick question for him that may help us go in a different direction.
I'm here. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Do you remember? Remember, it's still relevant today. There's a app out there for computers. You get it on your phone, mobile device. You can access it through a web page called Pal Talk. Okay. Called Pal Talk. That's a free program. Now you can pay for it and you get better sound quality and all this other stuff. But you got host your own room. It's free, and you can have up to 200 listeners I think for free in that room, and then you could actually upgrade from there and actually start paying money. Now the thing would be is we would need a software or a program that will allow people to call in to a number that didn't have a computer or to speak, or is Pal Talk good enough by itself? And hey, you got a computer, you're online, you got a microphone, a set of speakers, that's all you need. But it'd be nice to be able to have a piece of software that they could call in, and just through a couple cables or whatever, you could have that wired directly into Pal Talk through your microphone.
Yeah, we got to get away from this Skype sort of thing and get it to where people can just call straight in from their phones.
Yeah, well, check out Pal Talk. And there's there's almost 100,000 users on Pal Talk, maybe more now. I don't know. That was years ago. And like I said, it's a free download.
Yeah, that other thing you're talking about with Winamp, you got very limited bandwidth with that. We're going to have not that my server in the Netherlands couldn't do it, but I don't know about 300 or 400 streams.
Yeah,
I got a gig Ethernet to the internet, so
Yeah, there's a difference between multicasting and streaming. And what you want, I guess, am I correct? I think the multicast is the one where you broadcast it out there and everybody else just picks up off of it. Whereas if you're streaming, you're actually sending it to each person.
You're talking about TCP and UDP, right?
Yes.
Right. There you go. Well, you could have just said that.
Well, I'm breaking it down so other people can understand.
Don't understand what you guys are talking about right now because I'm getting messages on Facebook.
I don't know. I'm new to this technological age. Okay, I'm an old schooler. Okay, I grew up with a typewriter or a brother word processor.
Well, when you talk TCP like a normal web page or something, you send your request out and the server says, "Did you get it?" and you say yes. If the server says, "Did you get it?" and there's no response, it either waits, asks again, or drops the packet. With UDP, it sends the packet out. If you don't get it, I don't care.
Exactly. So like the old days, X modem and Z modem.
Well, like Dr. Leroy said, a lot of people don't need to be using computers today. But the problem is a lot of people do, because they don't get it. They don't understand.
I think it's possible.
I've got another caller here, 509.
Okay.
We'll see what they have to say here real quick, because I have no chat room here tonight. And if you missed the call here tonight, I did call Congressman Eric Swag, and we talked about gun control. So we'll get to 509 here. 509, go ahead. What do you got to add? Go ahead, 509. You're live.
Oh, sorry, I had myself on mute. Hey, it's Spencer, and I wanted to just share some thoughts and opinions on the topic that you guys are talking about. I think Pal Talk is actually a really good idea. I don't know who it was, Leroy or Ed Banker maybe was bringing up Pal Talk, but that's I got to say I don't agree with Talk is done. Ken knows my opinion on that because it's complete crap. But I believe that Blog Talk is already outdated anyways. But a lot of people go to, they use YouTube Live, and that's free.
Yes.
I believe Pal Talk is also free. But I think you can, contribute, send donations or something on there. Also, Discord, even though it is for gaming, you can do shows live. I don't know how, but Discord is another option. And I'm not very familiar with Twitch, but I have heard things about it. But since I don't know much about it, I can't really comment on it.
Well, caller, let me ask you this question. What we're talking about here tonight on Blog Talk actually is a good idea. Don't you agree? Where we need to expand on alternative media, where we can create an idea where we can get rid of the pornography and the idiots in the chat room that want to talk about nonsense. And, for instance, if we're talking about a certain subject, it's okay to voice your opinion. I've always said that. But, you get these idiots that call in, hello, and waste our time. And there's one thing you can never get back in life, and that's time. And that's why I want to say thank you for giving your time to me tonight by calling in. But what we're trying to do here tonight is expand out of Blog Talk because, like you said, you don't agree with what Blog Talk has done, and I don't either. And there's other Blog Talk show hosts on here tonight that disagree with it. So I appreciate what you had to say here tonight. I really do, and I want to thank you for using the platform to voice your opinion, and it's very important. But in your opinion, what would you like to see an alternative media podcast show do?
You're breaking up, man.
Yeah, you're breaking up, sir. You're breaking up on me. He's breaking up. I've got too many callers on the line.
Yeah,
you see, that's another thing we need to address is the bandwidth and the problem. Yeah, he dropped. He can call back in if he wants to. He's probably listening in via the internet.
The good thing about Pal Talk, like you mentioned, it's not on your bandwidth. You're broadcasting it out to the Pal Talk servers, and everybody else is just going there. Now it's an internet. I mean, it's an app that you got to download on your computer, but it's very popular. I mean, I've been out here just playing the guitar with a buddy of mine and started up a room in Pal Talk. Before you know it, this is just one night too. It wasn't an every night thing. It was just one night. Before you know it, you got 10 or 15 people in there listening. So if you did that every night and everybody knew, and you're allowed to put it.
You're absolutely right. Dr. Leroy, you're absolutely correct, and this is what we're trying to do, and what you're saying is so true, just like you and Bitbanker and God's Rainbow Ministries. We're trying to give people a voice on alternative media, and you guys are offering technological solutions that a lot of people really don't understand. I've gotten 30 emails already that say they don't understand what you're talking about. Well, then you don't need to be on your computer then. And kind of like me in a way.
After the show, check out Pal Talk. After the show, check out Pal Talk. It's a free download. Go from there. And there's another option, too, that it goes back, but you'll have to share the link out to the folks you want on. You could take a mediocre computer, put Linux on there, and start your own little server to broadcast with. And then people log on, they log on to your server. You have complete control. You pull a plug anytime you want. But then you also happen to have people, you got to have somebody that knows how to do that, and you'll have to know a little bit how to do that, which is a big learning curve. Whereas something like Pal Talk, or like he said, even Discord, it's all web-based. There's plenty of articles out there on YouTube on how to use it and everything else. And Pal Talk, I'm going to log on to Pal Talk. I'm going to let you know how many active members are on Pal Talk right now. I guarantee you it's probably around, it's probably 100 times the amount that are on Blog Talk Radio.
Go ahead. Let us know that, Leroy. Go ahead. If you don't mind doing that, please let us know. And that's awesome.
I'm logging in right now.
Yeah, because like for instance, I can only handle so many callers on my call screen. I get to 150 callers on my call screen, and most of them are private callers. And my call screen will say no more callers. And or if like the chat room. For instance, the chat room, you'll have 50 or 60 chatters sometimes, and a lot of people don't see the chatters because you're only allowed 50 chatters, and that's very interesting.
I just found something on Pal Talk. They went somewhere. It's been a while since I logged into Pal Talk. Right now, Pal Talk has 1,583 rooms open. Now, they may only have one or two users in half them rooms, but some of them rooms have 200, 300, 400, 500 listeners. They also have a new thing in here for Shoutcast radio forums, and that's part of the Winamp, NoSoft Winamp thing I mentioned at first. So actually, I guess they're trying to make a comeback or something. But there's actually a Shoutcast room in here, so you could actually do that option too, and it'll allow chatters, it'll allow people to mic up live, and you can always find some free phone app or something somewhere where people could call in too. So it's an option. Download.
Well, Dr. Leroy,
and learn it a little bit.
That's the second point of this show from when I originally started this platform, where I called the Congressman's show. We need to create something where people can come on to our platform and not go through the nonsense of Blog Talk Radio and everything else. Because what Blog Talk Radio has done, like God's Rainbow Ministry says, and I have 4 other Blog Talk show hosts that have just sent me emails, and they said they can't get into my chat room. That's what they said. I want to give a shout out to I won't do that right now. Okay, but I'm getting emails and messages on Facebook, and I can only handle so many callers. So how can we handle like Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck that has 1 million listeners, 1 million
well,
subscribers?
You got to pay for it. First of all, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. First off, you start off small. You start off somewhere where it's free. And something like Pal Talk, they have 108,000 members online right now. 108,000. Okay, that doesn't mean you're going to get a 1% of that. But what that means is you're allowed, out of them 108,000 members, you're allowed to get 200 in your room before you have to worry about paying anything to get any more. So unless you're maxing out, hitting 200 every time you run a radio show of members in the room, there's no sense paying. And the pay after that is like $39, $49, and $69 a month.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you, Dr. Leroy Dickinson, and you and Bitbanker, actually. But like I said, maybe the name of the game here is where this show, like you tune into, where we could do a show once or twice a week, create our own talk show where people can call. And you know what? Nobody has to pay, but what you do is, like I said, 50 cents, and like Bitbanker said, after they pay 50 cents or $1 2 or 3 times, they're for real, so it's free for them later on. And then you grow like that. You grow. You get 20,000 people clicking onto the link to your show at $1. You know what I mean? We can expand and get the word out and grow something that can be, for the people out there, by the people, and even if we may not agree with the Mandelacons out there or the other people out there, guess what? If they pay $1 3 times every month or 1 time every month to subscribe to the radio platform podcast show, like Bitbanker said, we know they're for real and we'll give them a live voice. But the original question is this: how many live voices can we stream live via the internet or live callers? And that's the question that somebody asked me. They sent me a question: how many people, if you create your own site or your own server, how many callers can you take? Because look, it's all about popularity today. Look, Fox News, CNN, we expose the corporate media here on this platform. I call senators or whatnot. How many live callers can you actually take? And before you answer that question, Bitbanker or Dr. Leroy, for instance, me, on my platform, live callers, I've had 250, and after that, nobody else can get through. And then, but I through Facebook and through Twitter, I get thousands of people that listen. I've had 12,000 downloads to the Federal Reserve show that I did. 12,000 downloads. Now, what does that mean? Downloads or listening live. Now we're getting into a different subject here. So that's what I'm saying. If we create a website here for listeners and live callers, say we do a show on Thursday, in July. Say we create this website, and how many people can we get via live on the phone? That that was the question was mainly asked here through about 17 emails I just got. How many people can listen in live via phone before the internet won't allow them to? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to explain. I'm reading questions here, and I'm trying to reiterate those questions to you. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Well, I don't know if he's going to answer or not, but yeah, if he wants to go ahead and answer, interrupt, please. But I don't know about your exact question about how many callers you can have. But in a platform such as Pal Talk or something like that, you're not limited by that. It has nothing to do with the bandwidth. And you could just sit there and you could create a free website from Weebly or whatever, and just have your website. Understand the times in which we live. And that website, you put a link. Click in to listen now, and that link will automatically open up their Pal Talk and take them to your room.
Okay. All right, and okay, very good point, Dr. Leroy. Before I take on some more callers here, and in that room, how many people can enter that room before the website crashes or can't handle any more callers?
It's not going to crash. There's 108,000. There's 108,000 users on right now. Believe me, your rooms can handle as many as you're willing to pay for. But like I said, after 200 is when you have to start paying. You're allowed so many for free. I would download it, look into it, go to paltalk.com and read a little bit about it to be for sure. But I mean, I've seen rooms in there with I got a paid subscription to Pal Talk, and I've seen rooms in there with several hundred, 500, 600, 700 in there. And most of the time they're radio rooms or something like that. But, that's because I don't go looking around for talk radio or talk chat rooms when I'm in Pal Talk. I go in Pal Talk to play trivia. That's the only reason why I have Pal Talk is I play trivia on there. And for my radio buddies, we get in there. And there's normally a couple hundred in them rooms. But
Dr. Leroy, this goes back to my original question. What if we created a room or a link for someone to go to a room and say if we wanted 50,000 people to go into that room, could we do it?
Well, if you had 50,000 people going into your room, you would take on a different platform entirely. And you'd be making enough money where it wouldn't matter. So if you got 50,000 listeners, people are going to notice this, and they're going to want to pay you money to advertise on your show. That's why Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and all them have them shows, is not because they're paying for it. No, advertisers are paying for it. Otherwise, they'd only have to be listeners.
That's my point, Dr. Leroy. You know what? I don't care about the advertisers, and I don't want to go to a commercial every 30 seconds. And I've talked about this on this show. We got to go to commercial in 30 seconds. No, I wouldn't want that. So even if people were offering to pay to come onto my radio platform, that's great and all. But at the same time, what if I didn't want people to pay and I just wanted the free listeners? Could I do that?
Oh, sorry, my phone was muted. Yeah. I mean, Pal Talk is a free app. They don't have to pay to be there. It's only once you get to a certain amount of listeners.
I'm not saying about Pal Talk. I'm just saying if we created our own, let's just say we don't have a name yet. We know that. Bitbanker and you, we don't have a name yet. Let's just say, hypothetically, let's call it Pal Talk. Well, with no copyright infringement, please. We're just doing this hypothetically if Pal Talk's listening. Just say we called it Pal Talk or we just called it Joe Gibson Talk. And Dr. Leroy and Bitbanker were co-hosts, and we did it twice a week. How many people can we get, to subscribe for free or pay $1, and then after 2 times we refunded them back their $1 just to know they're for real? So we got rid of the tones and the idiots out there and the hellos and the nonsense. Could we do something like that on the internet? Can we?
It's hard to say because if you're going to be doing it and you're going to be hosting it, it's entirely dependent on your bandwidth and how much what your bandwidth is. And if Time Warner or Spectrum, whoever it is now found out about it, they'd probably want to start charging you business rates. So that's why people start going to look for third-party applications for streaming and for things like that. So you look for things that are...
So you just answered my question. So therefore, my internet connection wouldn't allow me to do that unless I paid more money.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, so therefore, the internet is regulated. Excuse me. So therefore, we wouldn't be able to get 1 million listeners without having to have advertisers to pay for our sponsorship to do the show.
No, that's why you find people like Rush Limbaugh and all them, they have a server farm somewhere or something, or they're a member of a company that has a server farm, and they have a server there with all this bandwidth and everything else that allows them to do what they do. And it's like what me and Bitbanker were trying to get technical about a little bit. It's the difference between streaming and multicasting. One, picture this. Okay, you're throwing something up in the air. You throw a bunch of snowflakes up in the air. Okay, one is everybody goes up there and grabs a piece of that snowflake and comes back down. The other one is you got to throw that snowflake to every single person. Well, how long is it going to be until you get tired of throwing that snowflake at every single person listening? That's the difference between multicasting and streaming. And you want the one where it costs money to do it. You want the one where you send it to one place and you put all the stuff out there and they come and grab it, not where you got to do it individually. When you got to do it individually, that's where it's relying on your bandwidth. And to do it the other way, it costs money.
Wow. So therefore, you explained it. So therefore, there is no alternative media radio show out there unless you're like Rush Limbaugh, who has sponsors. Now these sponsors have to they're going to they're going to sponsor you, but you're going to have to be under terms and conditions and a contract. And if you say gay or the F word, the sponsor is going to pull their ad from your show. That's how it works, basically, right?
That's correct. That is correct.
See that?
But that's where the internet stuff comes in handy.
Yep.
He also mentioned YouTube Live. That's another thing. The only thing you can't post on YouTube is you can do profanity and everything else. You just can't do porn. So you're allowed to get out there on YouTube Live, say the F word if you want, and anything you want. You just can't have porn. So that's another option is YouTube Live. Everybody has YouTube. So, you just open up your browser and go to YouTube.com. And if you got a phone, you probably bought it and it has a YouTube app already on your phone. Matter of fact, most TVs coming nowadays have YouTube on them. So, it's a much broader base there.
So the bottom line, Dr. Leroy, is this. If we wanted to start up and go separate from Blog Talk Radio, we would have to do what Blog Talk Radio does. Pop-up ads, because we look, and Bitbanker complained about this when he logs into Blog Talk Radio. He's got all these pop-up ads, and a lot of you probably see it. And if we were to start, we would have to accept that to go through our internet connection and be able to have the bandwidth to accept 1 million or 10,000 or 15,000 users at once. The game's rigged. It's a big club, and you're not in it.
right? Be nice to look at YouTube Live. I don't think Pal Talk is going to cut it. You have to download applications, install them, and everything else, and even then you got to verify your email addresses. People aren't going to do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. They're not going to do it. But how? I think Dr. Leroy Dickinson, I think he really touched on something important. and excuse me, I'm sorry. It's live radio, folks, with our couple thousand people. But explained it clearly how Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity get these 350,000 downloads and listeners. He explained it. If you go back and listen to what he had to say.
And if they're all screened,
it's a big club, and you're not in it, right?
That's true. That's true. That's right. But we're not going like them. We're not asking for $19 a month or anything like that. We just want something that works, that's not going to break the bank, and to know who's calling in. That's all.
Well, well, there you go. But again, the original question is, how do we do that? Because, like you said, Bitbanker, you emailed me, actually, and Dr. Leroy is sick of it, too. He goes into the chat room, and he sees all these people talking about penises and genitals, and nonsense, and Blog Talk allows that, and I don't know what they allow now because they changed my chat room, but God's Rainbow Ministries, he's a Blog Talk subscriber. And I've got others that listen to this podcast, Global Patriot Network, Hindsight Radio, they're listening. I see you guys listening, whether you like it or not, I see you listening. But, Blog Talk Radio obviously switched up the platform. Blog Talk Radio has something that Dr. Leroy was talking about. That
Dr. Leroy just put a link in there, and I went to it, and I got to stream when I was streaming you from 3 years ago. It's still here.
Yeah, see that? You know, and that's the thing.
Yeah, March 9th, 2017 is when I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now YouTube live stream is free. That's a good way to do it. The only thing we'd have to do is find a way for callers to call in, and linking the audio up from his phone or from a phone app back through the computer. That's so easy these days.
Well, there's
you're absolutely right.
Places.
You're absolutely right, and YouTube. Well, YouTube live channel is a great idea, Dr. Leroy, but we need a home base. We need a foundation.
Over in your shed in a white box, you have a nice camera you can set up right into your computer. That's why I brought it down for you.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I don't think people want to look at me though.
Well, don't you want to be another Rush Limbaugh?
I got the big muscles years ago, and I look good and everything, but, you know, maybe we should put up an American flag, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's all you do is you broadcast a picture or something in the background, or, you know, that's all you got to do. You ain't got to be live.
Yeah, because there's ways to do that where you don't have to be live. I mean, you don't have to be, you know, because I know somebody else is using YouTube Live, and they just got a background picture up, okay, like say you have a background for the name of your show, okay, you know what I'm saying, and you or you have the same picture, that you have where you're sitting at your table, okay, you could do that, okay, and not have to be seen live.
But God's Rainbow Ministries, how does that work? Is YouTube live, or do they have to subscribe to the YouTube channel?
Well, I think they have to. I think you invite people to subscribe to your channel, okay?
And they can find you and automatically subscribe.
Now let me
also.
ask you this. All right, so if someone subscribes to your channel, do they have to pay money, or do they just subscribe for free?
They subscribe for free.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, guys. That's interesting. Maybe we need to do a YouTube channel, you know, and like God's Rainbow Ministries just said, I appreciate listening to the entire show here tonight. I appreciate that. He does his own podcast show on Blog Talk Radio. I appreciate him. I really do. I love him as a brother, I've been on his show, but we're trying to find out alternative ways to do a podcast, because Blog Talk Radio has switched up on us, and even God's Rainbow Ministries and several other Blog Talk shows do not like what they have done. They should have just left things alone. But you know what? In the same way, maybe we can get more listeners and subscribers and get the voice out there and get the word out. You know, excuse me, I apologize for that. And do live radio where God's Rainbow Ministries can talk through a YouTube channel. I can, and we can all unite together, man. We can unite together, subscribe together. We could do this together, you know. And it's not about the money, but it is about the money in the way. You know, we got to pay for our connection. The only thing people need to get to YouTube.
The only thing people need to get to YouTube and subscribe is an email address, and that's a Gmail, Hotmail, any type of mail like that. And they're all the same. They'll all work. They're all from the same Microsoft account. So
well, what happens, Dr. Leroy, when you get? I mean, even Donald Trump, when he podcasts live on YouTube, gets the jerks. You know what I mean? And you get these idiots that log in and want to start posting porn sites and stuff like that.
You can't post or comment. You can't post or comment unless you're registered into YouTube. So what you could do is you could block them. You just block them. And that's all you got to do, and they're gone. You don't hear from them ever again.
There has to be a producer of the show or the show host that monitors that and would block them. Correct?
Yeah, you wouldn't need a producer unless you had 100,000 listeners.
Yeah, that YouTuber's idea is good because, you see, now you got YouTube verifying your users before they get in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Well, that's kind of like what Blog Talk is doing now. Okay, with this new format. Okay, they're verifying users. Okay, so they can be able to come come into your chat room. Okay.
Yeah, but God's Rainbow Ministries, the hosts of the show are having problems logging into their own chat room. That's what that was the origination of this podcast here tonight.
Yeah, but that's only a temporary thing. Okay, as soon as you update your JavaScript or your Adobe Player, okay, you should be able to log in. Okay, you should have no problem doing that. Okay, all right. Okay, I mean you should update your Adobe Player or your Flash Player. Okay, at least once a year anyway. Okay.
Once a month.
Well, I've only been doing it once a year, and it's working fine for me. But so I don't know. Maybe it is once a month. Like I said, I'm not technically sound. Okay, I just know how to type. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, and do my show. Okay, through my phone. Okay, and you see it on my computer. Okay, so I'm not all that technologically sound like you guys are. Okay, but I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it.
Well, that's great. God's Rainbow Ministries. Before I give Bitbanker and Dr. Leroy some closing thoughts, I've got a few people that are waiting, and I'll bring them on here. It's a popular show, like God's Rainbow Ministries, and he said he's going to be on tonight in about a half an hour, I think. That's what he said, so I appreciate him spending every last minute with us. So, private caller, go ahead. Go ahead, you're unmuted, private caller.
So if you want to believe that motherfucker.
All right. You see, that's exactly what we're talking about. Next private caller, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hi. Lady Elaine Fairchild is going to have a found objects sharing exhibit.
Recording.
Yeah, all right, good. You see, and that's what we would eliminate, God's Rainbow Ministries and everyone else out there. We would eliminate that if we were to create a separate podcast. And shame on Blog Talk Radio for allowing these people to come onto the platform. All right. Anyone who wants to speak real quickly, I'm going to give closing thoughts to everyone who listens to the podcast here tonight. And I didn't make my major announcement here tonight. I'm going to put it off for a little bit longer. Hopefully my family and friends would support me in this announcement. After all, look, I've got a big mouth, and I know how to use it. So, but we'll talk about that privately maybe in the future in a little while. And, it could benefit us all as a family, as friends, together. Trust me. We, together we stand, divided we fall. So, I'm sure God's Rainbow Ministries must know what I'm talking about, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But let's go to Bitbanker. You want some closing thoughts here tonight, and then Dr. Leroy, I'll give you from North Carolina the final thoughts of the program. Actually, hang on. God's Rainbow Ministries, guys, you got a show to do. I'll get to you first, with all due respect. I apologize for that. You said you got a show to do, and I'll be logging into your show. Go ahead, God's Rainbow. Go ahead. Take a couple minutes.
Just basically, whatever you guys can put together, I'll be behind it 100%. Okay?
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Because I definitely would like to be able to find a better way to broadcast, okay, than what I'm doing now. And if you guys can come up with something, okay, just keep me posted, and hey, we can see what's going on. Maybe I can even subscribe to your guys' thing, whichever you guys get together and put together, and I can if it's only, I don't care. I'm spending $40 a month, so if it's $40 or less, okay, I'd be in.
Hey, we've got a pledge here, folks. We got a pledge right here, and God's Rainbow Ministries has quite a following, so that's awesome. I love you, brother. I appreciate you tuning in. I know you got a podcast to do soon here, so hopefully you'll listen to the closing to the platform here tonight. I appreciate you not doing a show simultaneously with me tonight, because as I always said, I don't like to compete with you. We need to come together.
Yes, well, I would never do that. I used to be on even a little bit later, at like 9:30. But I was noticing that if I stayed in the prime time zone, I would get more listeners. So we reduced it down to 8 o'clock versus 9:30.
Amen. Amen, my friend. And I appreciate your talk here. Bitbanker, do you want some closing thoughts here real quick before I get to Dr. Leroy? And
I don't
see anyone else here that wants to press number one.
I think you should become a minister and open your own church. How's that sound? Oh, my God.
Go ahead, Bitbanker. I'm sorry.
I think you should become a minister and open your own church. And while you do that, I'll become a warlock so I can cast spells on all the callers that call in so they never call back. How's that sound?
You come up with the magic herbs. That's it.
Yeah, well, I grow all my own herbs and everything in the garden, so I have plenty. And just looking over the internet here, these people are selling spells. Extreme binding spells. They charge $1,500. I mean, who are the fools to buy this stuff? Oh
well,
my God.
It's Easter weekend, and you can get magic holy water, by the way, for $19.95.
Oh, a love binding spell, $200. Imagine that. What would I do with it? No, but I'll
Katy Perry love me. Please make Katy Perry love me, please.
I'll look a little more into YouTube Live, and I guess Leroy can let me know what he finds out too. That's a good show.
Well, that'd
anyway,
be great, and a very serious conversation. We need to expel, and like God's Rainbow Ministry said, and several other blog talk shows. I got a private caller before I get to Dr. Leroy here, because we got a little bit of time, because I want to give him closing thoughts here. Let's see what this caller has to say that's been waiting so long. Go ahead, private caller.
You already know.
Yeah. Go ahead, private caller. Okay. All right. I guess they didn't want to talk. I unmuted them. I'm sure they And that's another thing too. You unmute a mic or whatever. You basically on our podcast, what we would do is say, "You're live. Go ahead and speak." And give them 1 minute to speak. But go ahead, Dr. Leroy. This is a very interesting show tonight. We talked about the subject that you like, technological issues concerning the internet. So I'm going to give you and expound a little bit here for some closing thoughts. Go ahead.
Oh, we appreciate it. And I like technical talk. I always have. I'm a technical person. And the religious talk, I like it to a certain extent, too. But I don't get too much involved in that. But politics, something that's good talk. Things going on in neighborhoods, things going on here and there. That's always a good reason for talk, too. I checked out talkshoe.com. It's very simplistic looking, and I'm not 100% sure how it works yet, but that's another free hosting site, sort of like Blog Talk, with dial-in numbers. I'll have to look a little more into that, because if you was to use something like YouTube Live, you would have to have another app running or another something running to allow call-ins, because that's the ultimate goal here, is to interact with people. And you can't interact with people when all they could do is type in a keyboard for a comment. You can't talk to them. So it's different. I think there's other platforms out here, and if you used to Google something like, hey, let's Google something besides Blog Talk Radio. You probably get a few options there. But, like Bitbanger said, TalkShoe is the cheapest solution and been around forever. That's probably why their website's so basic. I mean, it looks like something that I could pretty much do in a text document and post out to the internet. But there's a lot of different options. I've never liked Blog Talk Radio since the first time I started tuning into you when you sent me the link the first time 3 or 4 years ago. It's just funny. It's not well laid out. It's very confusing, and it's shit, if you ask me. It's trash. It looks like something that two 14-year-olds, instead of deciding to do Facebook, got together and decided, hey, let's let people get on here and host radio shows. There's no way really to monitor. There's no way to do anything, to have any type of control over anything. And, and they're telling you how long you can broadcast for. They're giving you all the rules, which you got to follow. And if you don't like their rules, they could cancel you anytime. And that's the same for YouTube Live or something like that too. But I don't know. You look at Blog Talk now since these changes have been made. I'm looking at the live. I'm going to exit out the chat room here, and we're going to look at the live people online right now in chat rooms. Join host live chats, okay? There's 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people in chat rooms right now on Blog Talk Radio. You could post up something on YouTube Live. I don't know. It could be anything. Watch me rub my kitty, and you're going to get a couple hundred. Okay, it's so because it's such a huge platform, and it's Blog Talk. Nobody knows what the hell Blog Talk Radio is. I work in the technical community, and I was telling them about your radio show and things like that, and they're like, Blog Talk, what's that? And it's BLOGTL, okay, and they're trying to put, okay, so it's BL Talk, no, Blog Talk. Nobody knows this damn platform except for the trolls and the users that use it every day. It's a waste of time, if you ask me. There's so much better ways, even if it doesn't have the full interaction that Blog Talk has. There's got to be other places out there to do. But it's such a waste of time to sit here on something that's so silly. I mean, their website's trash. You go to their website and try to look up your shows and stuff like that. It's confusing. It's not in order. And if you're not careful,
you're absolutely correct, Dr. Leroy. Yeah, I get so many emails. When's your show link? You're absolutely correct. Yep, it's not in order. And you're right.
And if you search for something, let's search for something on Blog Talk right now. Let's search for Joseph Gibson. I'm typing this in as I talk. Let's just see what pops up. Let's see what kind of bullshit pops up on Blog Talk Radio search bar.
Well, Joseph Gibson, understanding the times in which we live today.
No,
what do you
it
find?
pulls results from the web. It does not pull results from Blog Talk. It pulls results from the web. Under Joseph Gibson, you would think it'd be stuff from Blog Talk concerning you. No, it says truth on Joseph Gibson, blah, blah, blah. Truthfinder.com, records, basically a pay site so you can find truth on somebody. Okay, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links, and I finally see the first link for you, Joseph Gibson, Blog Talk Radio, 4 days ago, your show from Sunday. And then April 6th, March 10th, March 16th. You said no rhyme or order to nothing. But that's because they've done gotten to the money. Their advertisers are paying them to put them first. That's why you can search for something. And if I was to search for something like, let's say, Trump Mueller report, which is a big topic today. So let's just type this in. Let's see what pops up. Well, we got the same 5 advertisers up top again that wants me to visit their website before Backroom Politics on Blog Talk Radio comes up.
How about Joseph Gibson? How about this? Joseph Gibson is threatened by the Federal Reserve. Type that one in real quick.
Gibson threatened by Federal Reserve. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 advertisers. Then it goes to New York Times. Best-selling mystery writer Philip Marquardt. I don't see nothing about you on here at all. And I'm searching Blog Talk Radio.
All right, real quick, since we got time. How about Joseph Gibson threatened by the Federal Reserve, understanding the times in which we live in today. Blog Talk Radio.
We're really going to narrow it down by putting that much in there. Understanding the times in which we live in today. And it comes back to the first same 5 I went to. Truth on Joseph Gibson, Understanding the Fed. Baba, New York Times, Thor, Debt Show, Veterans Chronic, and that's all that pops up. Nothing about your show on Blog Talk Radio. And this is a search bar on Blog Talk Radio. Their interest ain't with you or with your money. Their interest is making money from their advertisers. And if their advertisers knew they only had 12 people listening tonight to anything live on Blog Talk, they'd probably drop them.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely correct. Real quick,
I'm done. It was a good show. I'm glad it got technical.
If you don't mind, though, type in Behind the Walls by Joel Hodnett.
Okay. We'll do that one more time. Behind the
Walls. Come on, please, for me.
By Joe. How do you spell his last name? H-O-O-G-N-E-T-T or is it
Joelhodnett.
Hodnett. Okay. Search Joel lately? The results may surprise you. People look at our official site. Same thing that came up for your name when I searched you. Hey, we found Joel. Search here for public records. There's 5 of them. Then finally, the 6th one down is Joseph Gibson discusses the book Behind the Wall. His true blah, blah, and you got to click it to see the rest. And it's a Blog Talk Radio show from March 8th, 2016.
That was me on the Captain Show. See that?
Yeah, the Freedom for All Network.
Yeah, see that? Hey, at least I'm on the internet still, folks.
I'll let you get to somebody else. How much you out?
All right, I appreciate it, Dr. Leroy. And the very interesting
Jay,
podcast
look at that link I
tonight.
sent you. Jay, go to that talk show link I posted in there.
Who are you talking to, me or Dr. Leroy?
He's talking to me. I had my phone muted. Hold on. I don't think I have that room open. I don't have your room open right now. Let me get back to it. Because I was doing, sir, I should have opened another window, but I didn't.
Well, you know what? While you guys do that, a very interesting podcast here tonight. Maybe Dr. Leroy will be able to type this one in and be first. Who knows? But Blog Talk Radio tonight, you are wrong.
I even give you the phone number and my show ID, so it works pretty good the same. But
I got into it a little bit, but I clicked on your link and it took me to my homepage, Leroy Dickinson, because I created a page there too. So let me see if I can do this again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It says live, but
Well, anyway, before we wrap it up tonight, I gave Dr. Leroy, he said he gave me back the floor. I want to wrap up the podcast here tonight. There's no chat room on my studio's call screen here on my computer. So, therefore, I apologize to the people that tried to log into the chat room tonight. But we talked about podcast shows and how they work. That was very important, and Dr. Leroy Dickinson and Bitbanker explained it to everybody. And if you missed tonight's program, we did call Eric Swadwell in California in his campaign office, and they want, like Dr. Leroy said, it's their base, and they're not going to do it because damn well if they try to go door to door and confiscate people's guns, all hell is going to break loose. It ain't going to happen. They're going to do it disproportionately, and they're going to do it intrinsically, and they're going to do it in a way where they register, like in registration ways. And we'll get into that maybe on the next show. But, hey, we gave a lot of people a voice here tonight, even though a lot of them were crank callers. It was a live podcast, but we're trying to create new podcasts, and we got followers, folks. So that's up to Bitbanker and Dr. Leroy. You know what? We can create something big here, guys. And is it about the money? Maybe not, but it is in a way. So therefore, you know what? We can create something better than Blog Talk Radio. Because Blog Talk, and we won't change it on you folks that are listening right now. We can create something better. And I'm attacking Blog Talk Radio. The Blog Talk Radio that has allowed me to be a host on their platform, but all they want is their $40 a month. And they've got 10,000 plus people collecting $40 a month. Add that money up, folks. Does anyone want to do some quick math? $40 a month at times 10,000. Anyone want to do that math real quick? Can anybody give me the number of how much Blog? And then don't forget the sponsors like Dr. Leroy proposed here tonight. But I did this show on Thursday night because Dr. Leroy said Fridays and Sundays are bad for him, so I did a show tonight. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the platform here tonight. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to get ready to end the episode, but hey, let's work on something better than Blog Talk Radio. Look, Dr. Leroy is very knowledgeable. He's got energy. He's got a lot of life left in him, and he's a friend of mine. I'm not going to say how I know him or whatnot because of the idiots out there that may be listening or click onto this show, and Bitbanker also. We need to use this energy, come together, and you know what? Let's get these bastards. Let's create something better. You know what? I got the voice. I'll go out there and I'll campaign for everybody. We'll do it. I got the voice, and we've got a lot of followers. Trust me. We do have a lot of followers. So, anyway, good night. God bless, and have your happy Easter Bunny weekend. Good night, everybody. Take care, and screw the chat room tonight.